Well, Larissa, thank you so much for joining us on Podium Athletics. It's great to have you here. Let's start sort of at the beginning and the obvious point, because your mum and dad were obviously athletes. You were quite late coming into the sport. I know you've spoken before about concentrating on gymnastics previously. What changed all that for you and got you into the sport in the end?
Well, hello everyone. Thank you for having me. I started with gymnastics. It was my first love. I've fallen in love with the sport. I love flipping and dancing and whatever, but I started to feel that I wasn't built for the sport. I was too tall, like minimum 10 centimeters taller than the other girls. So I was feeling a bit embarrassed about that. And then I was feeling that it wasn't it. I absolutely love gymnastics. I still follow everyone, especially the Italian team, but I was feeling that I needed something more personal, more built for me. So I started looking around. It was summer, I think 2013. So yeah, 2013, 2015. I don't remember, but I think I was 13 years old and I wanted to try other sports. I was thinking about basketball, volleyball, and athletics. But what happened is athletics was my first try and it was a definitive thing that I did in the end, because I went to the track one day after school. I wasn't expecting anything special because I always wanted to go against what people was thinking, because everyone was keeping telling me to do athletics, to follow my mother's and father's footsteps. Oh, you would be great in athletics. I was like, no, I'm gonna do something else. I'm not gonna copy and my parents. I just want to do my thing. But then I tried. So I said, yeah, fine, I'll try. So I wasn't expecting anything really. But then I remember that time flew by. I remember it was like an hour and a half of training with other kids, doing everything from javelin to long jump to sprints. It just flew by. It was when the training ended, I was shocked. I was like, wow, did that hour and a half just flew? It felt like 5 minutes. So I was like, oh, maybe I think I can give this thing a try. And then I did my first competition. And I remember I won my first 60 meters competition. It was like a regional competition. It's like, oh, that's cool. Maybe you can, continue and see where this thing is gonna go. And then here I am. So yeah, it was pretty random and I was a bit late, but still it was, it was like a slow burn for this sport. It wasn't love at first sight, because I always had this sport in my life, in my family, but I found my way into it. So I'm really glad it happened, because actually now it's my life, it's my job, and I love it. So
And what had your parents been like around you? Obviously, you'd love gymnastics. I can imagine they didn't want to just throw you into athletics. But do you think they were secretly really pleased when you found it yourself? And they were like, yes, finally, she
Yeah, you've
understands.
listened to us.
that was my dad. My dad brought me into gymnastics. Because I was dancing. I did dancing for 2 years. And then he asked me if I wanted to do something more dynamic. So he brought me into the gym. So that was him. And then when I decided to try athletics, I went up to him saying, look, I would like to try athletics, but don't get too excited. I don't know if I'm gonna like it or anything. So just, it's like, oh, I was waiting for this moment my whole life. I was like, what? And my mom got the opposite reaction. She was shocked. She was panicking. She's like, no, don't do that. Or if you want to do athletics, don't do long jump because everyone's gonna, compare us. You're gonna have more pressure. It's like, Mom, no, come on, chill. It's okay. I mean, it's just sport. She was right, but she was panicking at the beginning. It's like, are you sure? Well, volleyball, it's a really nice sport if you want to try. Like, I don't know, Mom. I'm not really a team person. So, well, I'm going to try athletics first and then we'll see. But yeah, it was so funny. One was panicking. The other one was so happy. He would, I don't know, hug everyone. So it was a funny time. And yeah. And then they supported me both in gymnastics and in athletics. They always took me to training camps, to training, of course, and also competition because I had to go around my region, which is Tuscany, and around Italy then next. So they always been very supportive parents. They never put pressure on me, pressure on the result. So I'm very glad that their experience somehow helped me to go through the sport.
Was there a moment then when you walked away from gymnastics, when the levels shifted and you said, that is absolutely enough of gymnastics, I'm all in on athletics?
Well, yeah. Well, I wasn't that good in gymnastics. I mean, I had this huge passion, but I was scared of half of the things, especially beam. I hated beam. That was my nightmare. I mean, I was so scared about that event. So when I shifted to athletics, I felt more comfortable in doing what I was doing. So the shift was pretty fast because I could feel that athletics was more something that I was capable in doing. So yeah, it was pretty fast. But still, I would love to go back flipping and doing tumbles and somersault. But I think it's better to just jump in a sandpit for the moment.
There are some it's quite obvious transformative skills that you've got there between gymnastics and athletics. Do you feel like that helped your transition quite quickly into the long jump?
Well, yeah. I think gymnastics helped me with some of the skills. But at the same time, for things such as running and even trying to understand the concept of long jump, somehow it interfered because in gymnastics you have vault, and I loved vault. I mean, you run and you jump. So I mean, the concept is quite the
Makes
same.
sense.
It makes sense. But the movement and the technique is different because you run and then you take off with one leg to then jump with two legs and then do whatever you have to do, which is different than long jump. So at the beginning, I wasn't that good in long jump because I couldn't understand why I had to take off with just one leg and then throw myself as further as possible. So at the beginning, I had so much difficulties in understanding that. And yeah, I wasn't the best long jumper. Well, it wasn't even my favorite event, actually. I love hurdles at the beginning, and long jump was like, that thing you have to do for the team once in a while and then just put it back and never look at it again for a year. But then, yeah, I had some problems there and running because you don't have any running technique when you're doing gymnastics. You just have to run as fast as you can, and it has to be compatible with what you're doing after, which is very dangerous. So at the beginning, I had this running technique that was terrible to watch. Like when I see myself running in my early years, I just cannot look at myself. It's so bad. I'm like, what am I even doing? But it's so funny because you can see that, when I got into athletics, I started working on my of my weakest spots, and now I think they're my strength, they're my most strong spots. I can rely on that specific skill. And it's funny because it's like, I don't know, looking back, you just like, how is that even possible? How am I now fast and running with a good shape? And then taking off is one of my best qualities. When I started, I was so bad at it. It was, I mean, it's funny to look back and to see how far did you come personally. Yeah.
How long did it take you to actually love long jumping then? Because you're saying it took a while to actually settle on this point, but when was the point where you suddenly thought, actually, I do really like this? Or has that happened? I assume it has.
Yeah, it did happen. But I think it took 2 years because my first year was so bad that I hated it. And then I still had that concept that I didn't want to follow my mother's footsteps. So like, no, long jump, I'm going to do something else. But then I remember my second year, I started jumping. It wasn't bad. I mean, I did like 594 behind the board, and it was like 14, 15, I can remember. So it wasn't bad. It's like, oh, well, this is not bad. I mean, I can consider it, but I love hurdles, so I think I'm gonna stick to hurdles for my whole career. And then the third year, I did an Italian record and an under 20 Italian record. So I was like, okay, maybe I'm good at this. So maybe this could be my thing. I can take this thing in consideration, can take this event in consideration, but I still did both hurdles and long jump. So I think the third year is when I started to fall in love with the event and started to be aware of my potential in that event. So yeah, it was quite as I said, a slow burn, even with long jump. Yeah, it started where it was in a place where I hated it. And then it became, my second love, because of course, hurdles will be my first love in athletics. So I'm sorry.
But then you did start getting really good at long jump, world indoor under 20 record. Did you feel like the pressure ramped up really quickly? Because I think you kind of exploded on the athletic scene. Suddenly everybody knew about you.
Yeah, it was so strange because I remember that everyone was starting to know who I was. I jumped, a huge measure for a junior, and my world somehow got all upside down. It was so strange because I was still a kid in my head, but athletically, I was, competing with Mihambo, Spanovic, and all these great athletes. And to me, it was unbelievable. So, yeah, the pressure started to get into the path, and I needed to find my way through it. Pressure is part of the game, especially when you have a mom who has won plenty of medals for your country. So it was difficult at the beginning because I was 18. So honestly, I wasn't ready to be in the place where I was at that moment. It all happened too fast. So I didn't get prepared for that moment. So I had to work on it. I had to work, especially mentally, and have to create my own way to get through the sport and to be prepared to whatever would be, next. So it was a fun journey. I had a lot of ups and downs, but looking back, I think it was the right way to cope with it. So I'm really glad I did, and I managed to come through it.
Can we talk about the dynamic with your mum as well, Larissa? Because it's not uncommon that we have these like parent, daughter, son pairings in sport, but in athletics as well. We actually spoke to Ailish McColgan a couple of weeks ago and talked about this sort of fun rivalry she almost has with her mum of every time she goes out to beat her records, and her mum seems to want her to do that. And it seems very much the same with you two as well.
Yeah, it's perfectly the same. We've got this fun rivalry. She wants me to beat her record. She's always like, well, I did my record in, I don't remember, I think it's more than 20 years. I think 1998, I think. Can't remember. I'm sorry. I'm very bad on my mom's achievements. I mean, the years, and I wasn't even born. I mean, how can I? So it's been more than 20 years, I think 25 years or something like that. And she's very annoyed by the fact that no one had beaten her record. So it's like, you need to beat my record. I mean, it will be fun. You know, my daughter beats my record and then it all stays in the family. It's going to be great. So you need to beat my record. So please do it. So yeah, she's always so supportive. And then at European Indoor Champs, I won. And she won it a couple of years back, and she did 691. I did 693. So we were bragging about the fact that I bet her by 3 centimeters. But I mean, it's fun because she's such an inspiration. She was amazing as an athlete, and she won plenty of medals. And I just look up to her as a woman and as an athlete every day. So I really like to have her as an inspiration and as a mentor as well, because I always go to her if I need any advice outside the technical and physical part. If it's more mental, or even, just getting to know the experience from another point of view, like the Olympics. I didn't know what the Olympics were until last year. I mean, I never been, and it's quite a different universe over there. And I went to her and asked how she was feeling in her 4 Olympics. What were the feelings? What was the vibe? What do you need to expect from one of the biggest, or maybe the biggest stage in sports? So, I mean, I'm very lucky to have her right beside me. So, yeah.
When you talk about that situation where you're almost outperforming your experience, I think that's very common with breakthrough juniors, that suddenly they're performing at a senior level, but they don't have the senior experience. Do you think if you hadn't had your mum to help you through that and to give you that perspective, would it have been even harder? Do you think you might have had to leave the sport and not be able to cope with it?
Well, probably. I think both my parents somehow helped me go through it, because it's not easy when you're a kid, you're a teenager, and suddenly you jump, in my case, at a senior level, because it's different. It's not a game anymore. I mean, it's something more serious, and maybe you're not prepared and ready to be at that level personally, as a person, as an athlete, but it's completely normal. I mean, you're a kid. I mean, your first priority is to have fun, be with your friends, with your teammates, and maybe think about school. So, I mean, it's quite different from, senior level and the senior mentality. But my parents always told me that I needed to have fun, to make the best out of it, and then to trust the process, because it's a process. No one's born with the knowledge on how to get through situation, especially maybe difficult situation. So you need experience, and in order to have experience, you need to live that specific thing. So you have to be brave enough to just confront, the adversity and just go on. So I think that advice really helped me with my with my journey. And probably if I hadn't had them, I don't know, I would be probably just a law student right now. Yeah, trying to graduate next year, and that would be it.
I love
No
you
long
say
jump.
just a law student as if that's like the easy option.
Yeah.
I find that so
Yeah.
hard.
But you are a law student. You're literally
Yeah.
doing both at the same time. Like, yeah, there's plenty of young people that if you had the success in a sport, they wouldn't bother trying to maintain academics alongside. Like, why is it so important to you that you're doing both?
Well, I was always passionate about studying and school, and then my mom was, she cares a lot about school and education. Yeah, sometimes she will tell me, "Oh, you're not going to training if you're not finished with your homework because it's important. You better get your school work done, and then you can have fun with your friends at the track." So yeah, well, I was always passionate about law. I have an uncle that is a lawyer, and I always looked up to him. So I decided to study law with in my own way, because the university system in Italy is quite flexible, so I can do both. It's hard, but I can still do both and balance the two spheres. Yeah, but I think it's important to have a plan B, because athletics won't last forever. So in a point in life, you'll find yourself in a place that you need to figure out what to do next. I mean, it's normal, it's life. I wish to do this kind of job, to be an athlete forever, but it's not possible. Biologically, it's not possible. I don't think that I'll be longing jumping for 50 years. I don't think so. So yeah. And the most thing I was passionate about was law. So I decided to just follow my heart and take the hardest road, not the easy road, but the road I was most passionate about. So here I am. Sometimes I drive myself crazy, but I mean, I'm still here.
Can I just take it back to your mum, please, Larissa, just quickly? I mean, it's partly our fault as broadcasters, really, but every time when you were coming through, the story is, we love a storyline in sport. So you were always introduced at the start of every meeting by almost everyone I heard as Fiona May's daughter, right? So until you get to that point where you have broken her record, do you feel like it's difficult to step out of her shadow to stop that being the narrative all the time? Would you quite like it to get to a point where that's kind of not spoken about anymore?
Well, I think there will be, probably, if things are gonna go the way I wish. I think we're gonna get to a point where, yeah, I will stop being my mom's daughter and I'll just be Larissa. But at the same time, I think it's nice, because I mean, I'm very proud of my mom. I'm very proud of being her daughter. So I don't know. It's something that belongs to me. I'm my mom's daughter, so no one's gonna take that away from me. So yeah, sometimes it's a bit annoying. I mean, you want to make a name for yourself, but at the same time is part of who I am. So it doesn't bother me that much. Yeah.
Could we go back to the Olympics last summer then? You touched on it already and those conversations you were having with your mum beforehand, but it was your first time there. It's a bonkers experience. I mean, I've never done it from an athlete's perspective, but I can tell you from the media perspective, it's like bigger than anything you've ever done. And it's so exciting. And I just wonder if you could talk us through the experience, because qualifying went so perfectly for you. And then you get to the final. Can you just describe what it's like entering into an Olympic final and how different that is if you've never done it before?
Well, it's so strange just to walk into that stadium and you see all these people. You just feel the atmosphere is so different. It's the same, on paper, it's the same competition that you find in a world champ. I mean, same people, same competition. I mean, you need to do the same exact things, but it's like the atmosphere is so different. It's so electrical. You can feel your emotions like 10 times more than usual. It's so strange. And then to me was a bit I don't know, it was a bit strange to be at the Olympic Village and then be in this huge environment. It was difficult to cope with the fact that Olympics is the biggest stage where everyone looks up to you from maybe your nation. They always watch you on TV. It's the only time in 4 years' time where everyone's focused on every single sport. So everyone knows who you are, and it is so strange. And then Italy was going very well. So somehow I felt the pressure more than ever. So it was difficult for me to try to manage the whole situation, because for me it was the first time I needed to just be able to realize what was going on, because it was so particular, it was so strange. And then at the same time, I knew that there were like millions of people that were watching me, and in Italy, millions of people that were cheering for me, and they were expecting the best, because I mean, Italy is getting better and better in every sport. So yeah, I felt the pressure maybe 10 times more than usual. So in the final, I was a bit, I don't know, I was a bit maybe even scared of not fitting the standards that people were putting on me and the other athletes. So yeah, that's the only thing that I somehow didn't like about the Olympics. But it was, I mean, the biggest opportunity in my life. It was a dream that came true. And at that moment in the final, I wasn't able to enjoy it 100% because I was thinking about the pressure that moment. But then now going back, I'm like, wow, okay, pressure, not pressure, but you competed at the Olympics. Like, it's something that you were dreaming as a kid. I remember I was in Derby in the UK, in England, at my granddad's and my grandparents' house, grandma and granddad's house. And the Olympics were always on in 2012. I was 10. And
Oh,
I
goodness.
remember, yeah, I was 10, yeah.
From my point of view.
And I remember that I was dreaming, and I remember that when Usain Bolt won, and everyone in the house was jumping. Actually, I saw Usain Bolt live.
Oh,
I saw the final live, the 100 final live. Wow, yeah, I
you
just
just remembered.
everything's coming to. I was 10, so I need to I need to get. So I remember the emotions that, the Olympics was bringing to the house. I remember watching gymnastics and simulating floor exercise with the music of another gymnast. It was something that it was always in my heart, and I somehow went there. I participated. I made a dream come true. So I should be proud of myself. And I was focusing on the wrong things at that moment, but I think it's part of my journey, it's part of my experience. And I know that in 3 years' time, I will be ready to just enjoy the moment as it should be. So, yeah, it's something special. It's something special. It's something that maybe you don't realize in the exact same moment, but then when you look back, you're like, wow, I did that.
I think there's this tendency for people to go, I'll just see it as another competition, the same competition. It's the same race. It's the same runway. And I think that's just not possible, is it? You have to go and appreciate the fact that it's something bigger than that. And I think by trying to ignore that, it just doesn't work.
Yes, it's bigger than you think. Yes, it's a competition, but it has an historical, cultural, political importance. it's something different from another championship. In fact, it's not a championship. It's Olympic Games. It's something that people for century has been doing. And, in Greek times, if you won the Olympics, you were like considered a demigod. So that makes, the whole point of it. It is something big. It's something that unites nations. They stopped wars for Olympic Games. So this somehow gets you into the perspective of what this event really is and the meaning that it holds. So yes, it's something big, and just to be an Olympian, I think it's a blessing, because I think the 1% of the athletes in the world have the opportunity to be there and to represent their country. So, we all should be proud of ourselves.
I love hearing you talk about it like that, because I think you've captured exactly what it is. Another athlete I spoke to last year in Paris, I thought they put it so perfectly as well. They said the Olympics matters and it doesn't matter at the same time, because it is sport at the end of the day. But what is so special about it is we pick one moment in time every 4 years and we all choose to make it matter. And that's exactly, I think, what you were saying. So if you think now, Larissa, back on the 4th place finish, how much fire in your belly does it give you? Was it motivating as well for you to, yes, maybe look back and say, well, I'm more proud than I thought I was in the moment, but also what it might spur you on to do now?
Yeah, that 4th place gave me a lot of motivation, and now I keep that moment, that 4th place, in my heart, and it burns every time I do a competition, because it's part of my story, and I think it's the biggest part of my story at this moment in time. And I hope, I get more more big moments in my career, but at the moment, it's the most important and the most motivating part of my journey, of my path, and I keep it with me every time I jump. It's something that brought me so much fire, so much motivation. When I got back to work after, not the Olympics, but after the season, I remember that I wanted to push myself 100% more, 200% more every day. I wanted to be a better person, a better athlete every day. And that's what keeps me going. So I really say thank you for the opportunity to came 4th at the Olympics, because it's something that at the moment drives me all around and keeps me going and keeps me working hard and push myself to the limit every day, every competition, every training.
Did it take a while to get over that then, Larissa, in terms of you're trying to get onto the podium? And I know you've been talking about how passionately you're speaking about the Olympics. It sounds to me that you have completely reframed things already, that next time when the Olympics come around, that this is an incredible opportunity, that you're very lucky to be in that situation. Whereas maybe were you sort of thinking the same thing, but in a more negative point of view? You're putting the pressure on yourself last time out?
Yes, I'm very good at putting pressure on myself. I'm very good at that.
Gold medal.
Yeah, gold medal. No one can beat me. I'm Olympic champion on that one, probably. But yeah, and I think it was the wrong way to take the whole situation, the whole Olympic Games. Pressure is always part of the games. We already said that, but you need to be kind to yourself. You need to accept when you're not happy about your performance, about you. There are a lot of things that come through and are part of, the performance. It's not only jumping a certain measurement and that's it. It's your mental state, how are you feeling, where are you in life as a person too. I think it's very important, because we're people before, so human beings before athletes. So you need to take that into consideration often. And So yeah, I think I was too negative at the time, but then I tried to move on in a more positive way after the games. I had like a week of I was so down. I couldn't leave the house. I just left the house just to train. I just wanted to be by myself because I needed to think my way through the fourth place and how I was feeling about the whole competition, Olympic Games situation. And then I just realized I had to change my perspective. I needed to move on and try to get the positive aspect or aspects and then take them with me and go on and think about the next competition and try to get into the last trainings healthy and with a positive mindset. I mean, the past is in the past. You cannot change that. You can only change the future, and you can only change your actions. They're the only one in your control. So I started to work on myself, as an athlete as well. And now I have a completely different perspective about it. I'm more, as Gen Z says, chill about it. I'm more, I have more confidence. I have more tools to get through situations that are similar to what I've lived at the Olympic Games, thanks to experience. So now I'm very positive about it. I see my fourth place as a blessing and not as a blessing in disguise, and not, you know, I don't want to say a failure, but, you know, like something bad that happened, you know, in my career. And then it was my first time. I mean, it doesn't always click immediately. Maybe sometimes you're a slow learner and you need to try and to understand what's your way through things. So I'm very happy that I came to a point where I have confidence. I just feel blessed about my path and can wait to see what the future holds for me. So, yeah.
Oh, well, fourth at your first Olympics is hardly bad, is it?
Yeah, I mean, if you think that, I mean, yeah, it's fourth place. You're one step behind the podium. It's not bad. I mean,
so if we say we've got Larissa 2.0, we've got a new Larissa, the next side of her first Olympics. If we fast forward to Apeldoorn and European Indoor Championships, standing on that runway there, did you feel like you carried all that experience and all that learning into that championships?
yes, and I was burning inside. The only feeling I remember from that competition is that I was burning. I don't know, I had this fire inside me. I don't know, I was so focused into execute and just to be focused on the moment. And it was amazing. It was amazing. And I love European champs. They're one of my favorite competitions. I don't know, they have this really nice vibe, and it's so good to compete there. So I was happy to be there, but as well, I had this strength inside me, this mental and physical strength inside me, this motivation that couldn't hold me back. And the funny fact is that I changed my run-up 1 week before the competition, which is mad. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that again. Actually, it was so
You should
much
do it
of
again.
work.
It sounds like it worked.
We can switch, you know, once in a while. But I remember that I changed my run-up because I was doing the whole indoor season with another run-up, a new run-up, but then I wasn't feeling it. So I went to my dad, who's my coach, like, Dad, I think we need to go back to the old one. I was thinking the same thing. It's like, oh, wow, we have the same problems. I mean, we're in the same, we're in the same wave. So I did 2 trainings with my old run up, and they were so bad. Like,
No.
I was a bit desperate because I was thinking I didn't want to show too many emotions, but I was like, listen, I mean, if I'm doing this type of run up at the Euros, it's gonna be very bad. It's gonna turn out very bad. I mean, I don't feel very good, but I think it's the right choice. So I just try to be calm and try to, erase maybe the mistakes I was making in the run up. And I was confident that I would get through it. And then, yeah, it just snapped. I went there in qualification. I tried my first run up. I was like, yeah, okay, this one, it's okay. Competition, qualified, and then final. It was all about going there and execute and feeling, I don't know, strong, feeling passionate about what I was doing. So yeah, it's a funny story. Yeah, very funny. Yeah, it wasn't funny the first 2-3 days, but it turned out a good thing in the end. So it's good.
We've talked a lot about your mum, Larissa. You touched a bit more on your dad there as being your coach. You must have an immense amount of trust between you two, and like you say, you seem to be on the same wavelength. So when you need to make those technical changes, you're making them. What's that dynamic like for you two? And does it sometimes go the other way in terms of that you're so close that, maybe it blows up every now and again? Does it get a bit too over emotional sometimes?
We're very good at balancing our relationship. I mean, when he always tells me that when we're on the track, he's my coach and not my dad. Even though I call him Babbo, which is a Tuscan way to say dad, but because I'm very, I mean, it's embarrassing to call your parent with his first name.
Yep.
It's not, I don't know. No, I'm never going to call him Gianni. Honestly, it's
no. Do you know what? My 5-year-old's going through a stage of doing it right now. I've just come back from holiday, and when she was wanting something, she was shouting from the pool, and she was, "Daddy, Daddy," and then she was just like, "Rich, I want this now." I was like, "You are not calling me that."
No, exactly. No, to me, it's too much. It's too much. No, it's dad, mom, and dad. That's their name for me. And but then, yeah, we're very good at balancing it, and we're working that exact moment. He's not my dad. If I have a beef with my dad, that daughter and dad beef, it stays out. It doesn't enter the track.
How?
So,
How does that happen?
you need to, it's years and years of practice, because at the beginning it wasn't that easy, but you adjust yourself to the situation you're in. So for me, he's the coach. He's completely another person. But at the same time, the bond that we have, the relations that we have are very close in general, helps him to understand me with only one look. He knows when maybe I'm nervous about something. He knows what to tell me. He knows how to manage my personality. I have a very strong personality. So it's not easy to cope with me, but he knows what to do. So this helps somehow the relationship between athlete and coach. But then when we exit the gates of the track, he's my dad. So yeah, we're always having beefs. Yeah, he's the only man in a household of 4 women, because it's me, my sister, his girlfriend, and the dog, which is a girl. So poor man. It's not easy.
But that sounds like you guys have got a good balance and a good relationship. But stuff like winning a European title in Apeldoorn and then getting to celebrate with your dad and your coach, like that must be awesome when you get to kind of let all that professionalism go and be able to celebrate.
Yes, when things go very well, like in Apeldoorn, he's just a proud dad. The coach just leaves the chat and he's like a proud dad. He's like all emotional, and that's very cute. And I think it's sport at the end. It's emotions is fun, is passion, is, having the people you care the most about around you when you achieve something big. And I mean, we live for these moments, so it's awesome to share these kind of things with my dad, which is, I think he's a very skilled coach, but he's an awesome man too. So it's great.
What about jumping over 7 meters then? That must be pretty fun to celebrate.
Oh yes. Well, it's funny because I didn't look on where I landed.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, oh, okay, yeah. But I mean, I always came close to 7 meters, and I was like, oh, I won't come close today. I mean, I feel good. Was like, oh, but maybe, the wind or whatever. Maybe it's a foul. I don't know. So I came out. It's like, oh, that was a good jump. I was feeling good, but I won't. I mean, I don't want to be too much enthusiastic about it, because usually I get killed. My bike gets killed from something. And then I turn around and I saw the judges doing this. I was like, okay, maybe this one is long. And then I saw the mark I left. I was like, okay, this is over 7 meters. And then 7:06. Oh, wow. Well, I was expecting another situation, but it's cool. I mean, I did it finally. And it was so good doing it in front of a home crowd, because we were in Sicily, the south of Italy, and a lot of people came, and then a lot of athletes I grew up with were participating at the competition. So it was a big moment for me. And yes, but it felt so easy. That's what I was expecting, was something, more spectacular, like you feel that it's a big jump and then you just start running because you knew it's 7 meters. But it was so easy. It came so easy. I was like, wow.
Did that surprise you?
Yes, because my mom told me that big jumps come naturally. You don't feel them that much. I mean, you can tell, but it's something that comes very easy. But it's like, no, mom is just saying that just to,
It's
I don't
annoying
know.
how mum's always right, isn't it?
She's always right. Yeah. I have to admit, I always try to, to try to reverse the situation, but she's always right. She said, no, Larissa, you don't have to force yourself into it. It's going to come the easiest way possible. It's like, oh, mom, come on. That's not possible. I mean, it's 7 meters. I mean, it's a lot. So she said, trust me, it's like that. And it felt so natural that it was, wow, it was amazing. I felt amazing. It was like the perfect jump, because I didn't feel any pain, because usually sometimes you feel pain when you jump. I mean, your feet sometimes are a bit sour. Yeah. I didn't feel, I felt easy with my body. I felt relaxed. I usually a bit tight, and it just came. So I was like, wow, she was right. So I should be working on being relaxed while I jump. So yeah.
And how big a deal is it to jump 7 meters? I've always been fascinated by these, the marks in athletics. So with men, it's the sub 10 seconds in the 100 meters. And I feel like constantly at the moment we're talking in the men's pole vault about going over 6 meters, because a couple more are joining Mondo Duplantis. But for the women's long jump, that 7 meter mark, like how often had you been thinking about it through your career? Was it like something you dreamt about?
Yes, absolutely. As they all say, it's like getting into the the elite club of women's long jump. So being part of it, it feels a bit surreal. I mean, there are a few women that broke that barrier, and now I'm one of them. Is wow. I mean, I didn't expect that. I mean, I always dreamt about it. I always wished that I could one day break that barrier, but breaking it and being aware that you're with these huge and talented athletes in this club, it feels amazing.
Is there a
It
handshake?
feels surreal.
Special handshake
Yes.
for the club. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get to sit at a different table.
Yes, exactly. Like at weddings, you have different tables,
The happy
in
table.
circle.
But so you've conquered the 7 meters. What's the limit? What do you think? What are you and your dad working on technically? What are your strengths? What are you going to improve on? How far can you go?
Well, we improved this year my speed. So we got a little bit high with weights, and we're working on speed. But well, I'm not very good at weights. I mean, I don't do a lot of them. I mean, I'm not a strong athlete, but I mean, it's my parameter. So I grew from that point of view. And now technically, we're trying to work on the run up, trying to minimalize everything, to be more efficient, to don't lose any, don't waste any energy during the run up, to be more efficient the last few steps on the takeoff, because I mean, the angle on which you take off, it's very important. So try to improve that one. And so we've got little things to work on, but I'm very happy to have something to focus on and to have like a little goal in training and in competition to think about it. I mean, I don't think about the measure. I think about something that I'm working on, and try to execute that specific thing in the right way. So yeah, we got a couple of things that are into our mind, but then we'll see. I mean, it's always going to change in the next few years. So for now, these few details are our main priority. Then we'll see.
That's what I was going to ask you, actually, Larissa. You've already spoken about the motivation of Paris and then LA in 3 years' time. But do you set little goals? How far ahead do you look? Do you just one thing at a time, or do you have a number of things that you want to tick off for the rest of the year? I mean, yeah, winning gold in Tokyo might be one of them, but I don't know. Do you try and set yourselves little small goals month to month?
Yes. Okay. Actually, I plan everything. In fact, I study law and I train, so I need to plan everything. So what I do is like a planner, 4 years planner from of the Olympic cycle. So with the main events, and then I just focus on one thing at a time, because it's good to have like a general plan. Just to set goals for the future, but you need to stay in the moment. So at the moment, my main goal are the world champs in Tokyo. So for me, I mean, the focus lands in September. So everything that I'm doing right now, obviously, are little goals and, little things that I need to do in order to be my best self in September. But I want to be my best at the moment of the goal I set. So yeah, this moment the priority is Tokyo, but then I want to achieve little things in these few competition before the champs. So now in a few days I'll be at the European Team Champs, which is a big thing for us Italians, of course. We're reigning champions, so we need to we need to defend the title. And I have things to focus on that specific competition. And so I like to set big and little goals and to focus on the big picture, of course, but then to follow the path and concentrating in things that can be useful at the end of a year. So yeah, it's a bit complex because it makes sense in my head, but probably can not make sense in other people's head. But it's all here. It's all here. I mean, I've got it all here. I can imagine. I imagine a path, literally like a road that has, yeah,
With destinations along the
yeah,
way.
that has a destination and then a few stops and with goals. Yes.
Sounds quite fun. I might come with you.
I'd love to hear more about the Italian team at European Team Champs, because you guys winning in Silesia in 2023, before then hosting the European Championships in Roma, that was so special. Yeah, you guys super motivated to win again then this year?
Yeah, I think so. We're a big team. Now we're a very young team. A lot of youngsters came out and they're going to be part of the team this year. So I'm very happy about it because I think it's nice to see generations that confront themselves and, you know, share an aim. They share a destination. They share a motivation to win and to reconfirm the title. So it's gonna be fun. I love when athletics becomes a team sport. It doesn't happen often, especially for me that I'm a long jumper, so I don't do relays and stuff. So I usually by myself. I don't even have another Italian girl to share the pit, maybe at champs at the moment. I hope that will be that we're gonna have another long jumper soon. So it's fun because I mean we're all a big family at that moment, and I don't know, it somehow in my case, I jump with my own energy, but with the energy of the whole team that tries to, you know, bring you as far as possible. The vibe is amazing. We have a great captain, which is Jimbo. I don't know if he's attending, but usually Jimbo is a super motivator. And then we have other elements in the team that are such they're such good leaders that somehow hold the group together. And I think that's one of our strengths. So it's gonna be fun. I can't wait. And well, I'm not gonna say anything, but
Larissa, would you like to see more of this sort of thing, like the European Athletics Team Championships? Because sport has these kind of competitions. In tennis, you've got the Davis Cup and the Billie Jean King Cup, and you've got the Ryder Cup and the Solheim Cup in golf. And it feels like athletics is there are these events popping up trying to innovate the sport. But when these come along, it kind of feels like it's right in front of our face, actually. This is a way. I know there have been attempts to do world events like this before, but do you think the answers already exist, maybe, to try and make the sport more exciting every now and again, to have these kind of events?
Well, yeah, because it's fun. It's a show. I mean, we've got our competition, our serious competition, where we can just perform, execute, and I mean, being ourselves by ourselves and doing our thing. But I think we have to continue to have somehow the concept of a team. Usually when you start athletics, you're on a team and you do a lot of team activities, competition or more team thing. You're more part of something bigger than you. You're not by yourself. And I think that is one of the main things that makes kids become athletes and then professional athletes and then, you know, champions. It all starts from there. So we need to not lose that concept of being with other people, sharing something, values, sharing aims, sharing, you know, passion about this sport. So, well, yes, I mean, it's in front of our faces. There can be many ways to do athletics this way. I mean, not because we're professionals means that we cannot have fun once in a while. I mean, so, I mean, tennis does it. A lot of other sports
the Italians are doing well at that as well, aren't they?
Yep.
It's rolling well.
We're really good at tennis. Yes. I think we're amazing in tennis. And actually, I wasn't following tennis until Yannick Sinner started winning, and now I'm a huge fan of Sinner and everyone. I mean, even Paolini. I follow everyone. It's so fun.
Well,
You don't need to get Katie started. She wants to turn this into a tennis podcast, I think.
Okay.
Our running joke is I talk about tennis constantly on this podcast, despite it being about athletics. So I promise. One final question. It's not about tennis, but it is about Italians. You being Italian. But we've talked a little bit on this pod. We like to speak to athletes from all over the world, but of course the three of us are British. Hannah's a former British athlete. Your mum was a former British athlete before she transferred allegiance. I just wondered, finally, Larissa, if you feel a connection to that British side of your family. You talked about spending time in derbies. I mean, if you're going to Derby, you must love Britain, right? I just wondered stories your mum has told you about that as well.
I love Derby. I love England because I somehow grew up in Derby. I spent like 2 months every summer because we have a long summer holiday in Italy. It's 3 months of holiday, but 2 months out of 3 I spent it in Derby. So it was a lot of fun, and I love to have all these cultures in my family because I not only have a British side, but I've got the Jamaican side, which is my mom's parents. I've got my dad who has an American mother. So we got all these kind of we're multicultural, and I love that. I mean, I grew up with a lot of different pieces and elements of culture, and I'm very proud of that. And yes, but I'm very, very, very I very love England. It's like my second home. I've got a lot of memories over there. I remember a lot of TV shows in England that I was so sad not to watch in Italy. As soon as I got back, I was like, no, I cannot watch Tracy Beaker. Oh, so sad. That was one of my favorite. I remember, yes, the food, the culture, how they live life, which is so different from Italy. So, yeah, it's been a huge part of my life, and I'm very proud of it. And yes, I have this very strong relationship with Derby especially, and I love London. Yes. So yeah, I told my mom that if I wasn't an athlete, I probably would have gone to university in England, just to try another experience out of Italy. So yeah, it's part of my personality, it's part of my culture, it's part of my story, it's part of me. So I'm very linked to it. Yeah.
I was wondering how you make Derby attractive for a kid who lives in Italy. My husband's from Derby, so I'm allowed to. And the secret is Tracy Beaker.
Well,
English TV.
Well, my granddad was a lot of fun. He used to take me everywhere, to the fun fair, to the park, cycling. He brought me to a lot of other cities like Nottingham, London, and other cities. Birmingham, of course. I mean, I've been in a lot of places, and then the secret is that you somehow put a kid in a different environment. So I'm a very curious person. So I was a very curious kid. So I wanted to know everything about it. I saw differences, so I wanted to know more about them. So I think that was it. And of course, TV shows. I mean, I loved British TV shows. I loved them. So of course, yeah. And then the food, apple pie. I love apple pie. So,
did you ever get a Bird's cream pie? There's a bakery. Yeah, bakery with just like disgusting amounts of whipped cream.
Yes.
That's my favorite thing about Derby.
Yeah, Bird's has a special place in my heart.
Mine too.
Yes.